Good evening. I'll give you a heads up. There may be several times tonight when I have to mute my mic and deal with my sinuses. About 30 minutes or so before the show, all of a sudden my sinuses have just been going like nuts. I don't know that it's ever been this bad, but anyway, it is what it is. I don't really have anything extracurricular, if you will. I know I didn't even say it right. And I'm out of breath, so bear with me. I've been diving from one rabbit hole to another and trying to find out what the hell is going on in Ukraine, and I'll get to that. Concerning. I've got 12 tabs open tonight. Not good. I don't like any of it. I really don't. He said I really don't have anything outside of the news to cover this evening. Can't really think of anything. And if I do, I'll mention it when I think of it. So let's go ahead and jump on in to some tabs. And at least there are no dongs in the title. Well, it's close. I saw that and I lost it. I was like, that's like gold. That is like absolute gold. And there's video. So we'll not only get to hear about the man being stabbed by his own cock, we'll get to see him be stabbed by his own cock. It ought to be interesting. A cockfight in central western Mexican city of Colima turned into a bloodbath after a battle rooster turned against its master, according to local media reports, which, in my opinion, serves him right. Footage from the cockpit, circulating online shows two men in a cockpit together, pitting their roosters against one another for a fight. The birds appear to be, I'm not anywhere near mature enough to be doing this. The birds appear to be wearing artificial spurs, enabling them to deliver maximum damage to their opponent. That's crazy. I mean, do you have like a modified class for cockfighting or something? Is that how that works? You got the stock class, and I imagine you have the bomber class, and I guess you got the modified class, huh? Anyway, one of the birds, however, decided to attack this master instead of the rival rooster, scoring multiple hits to his leg in a matter of seconds. The rooster owner eventually managed to grab his cock, with the opposing bird seizing the opportunity to deliver a few pecks on it. I am certainly not mature enough to be reading this. The man also suffered from an arm wound in the skirmish, yet it was not immediately clear which of the birds was responsible for it. The man then collapsed to the ground with blood pouring from his leg as the cock had apparently penetrated a major vessel. The cockfighting watching crowd then rushed to bandage the man's leg, dragging him out of the cockpit. Additional extremely graphic footage taken in the aftermath of the incident shows the man suffered at least 3 deep slashes to his leg. So, now actually I better not play that. I'm not going to play that because I don't know what YouTube would do with me over that. Considering that it is, I don't know what the deal with cockfighting is. I don't know if it's legal in Mexico or not. I have no idea. I know it's not legal here. I don't know. I just got huffed at by the dog. I don't know why. So now this is another story that's in the news. And yesterday I had spoke a little bit about a realization that I am having of just how close we are to a civil conflict. And this is just more of it. Now, don't get me wrong. First off, I'm going to make a clear point that I don't pick a side in this nonsense. Because both sides are whack. I don't pick a side. So when I look at this, when I look at the idea that they are removing now, and I don't know, I don't know what their involvement in this protest is. I read the article. I don't see anything that stands out as anything, that was really out of line. I know they went to the chamber and but we're supposed to be allowed to do that, okay? The whole January 6th thing, while it was not cool for them to do what they did, that is actually kind of a part of our process. I mean, you're supposed to raise hell. That's what civil disturbance is. Civil disobedience. I mean, civil disobedience, obviously you cause civil disturbance. That's kind of the name of the game. And I find it amusing at all of the people that want to put limits on what is acceptable protest. Now, granted, going down and burning down your local 7-Eleven is never going to be an answer to fighting the government or fighting this political party or that political party or even this police department. Burning your 7-Eleven down ain't going to do shit to help you. In fact, it's going to hurt you. However, I absolutely believe folks have a right to protest. And I support that right. I support the right to protest. I support the right for them to walk in the damn street and block it. Why? Jeez. I'll say it slowly. Civil disobedience. Maybe separate it, look the words up. I don't know. But for those that have such a problem with blocking roads and all that stuff, and I get it, trust me, I get both sides of it. What effect would civil disobedience have if he wasn't making somebody miserable? Isn't that kind of the whole point? I'm pretty sure that's kind of the whole point. However, that's way over there. We're over here. And this here is nonsense. If I'm understanding this correctly. Again, I don't see anything anywhere that really that the government officials, I don't see anything that they did themselves that should warrant their removal. I could be wrong. There may be a whole story I don't know on this. But I'll say this. Right is right and wrong is wrong. Plain and simple. And I'm not advising that the right stand down at all. Oh, hell no. I'm not even going to remotely advise that because, hell, they finally got off their ass. So I'm sure the hell not going to tell them to sit back down. Not after all this time. I mean, you got to understand, for years, I've been trying to get them off their ass. Finally. And it wasn't because of me, but finally. They're getting motivated enough to actually do something. Again, it's wrong. Two wrongs don't make a right. However, the part about it all that I want to point out is that people have had enough. And when I'm pointing this out, I'm pointing it out to the left. I don't pick a side. I'm definitely not on the right. Not on the left either. No thank you. No, thank you. I don't do cults. I just don't do cults of any kind. And I know one thing. I know that the left has gotten away with a whole lot of stuff for a whole long time. And the right is fed up. And they're done. And there's something to understand about the human psychology. You can sit there, by the way, and talk all oppression and all that bullshit you want. I've got 2 eyes, I've got 2 ears, and I've got more than 2 brain cells. I know what oppression is. And the ones that are being the most oppressed are the ones that have faith. And I'm wording it that way because of all the different faiths and stuff. But the people that have faith, the people that believe in God. And, well, for the most part, white males. For the most part. And whatever. You know, it is whatever. But what folks need to understand is that when people stand down for a long period of time and they do everything they can to try to be patient, try, even if it's just a little bit, to be understanding, try to maybe meet you somewhere, even if it's not quite halfway. But everything that, and I'm going to say the right, okay? I don't necessarily mean it that way because, I mean, hey, I'm one of these, I'm one in this group that I'm talking about here, and I'm not right. I'm not on the right. So please keep that in mind. No, I absolutely agree with you, Midwest Silver. Absolutely. I call it misdirected anger. I call it misdirected anger. Hey, look, if you're mad because a cop shot somebody, then you need to be taking it out on them. Not again, the 7-Eleven, not some guy's house that just happened to be on the corner of the street they were protesting. I agree absolutely with you. You know, there's a difference between civil disobedience and then when it's, you know, violence or vandalism, or because it does go further. You know what I mean? Civil disobedience is kind of one of those things like walking the tightrope. Okay, civil disobedience is generally supposed to be things that are, we won't say quite acceptable or quite legal, but at the same time not something that's going to bring a lot of harm to other individuals. That should not be the point of civil disobedience, which brings me back to what I was saying. And I want to remind folks, I am not a party of either cult. But the right is tired. They're worn out. They're pissed off. And I don't know how many of y'all have cornered a feral cat. I have. And, I don't know. If I looked real hard, I probably still got a scar from it. That was an awesome cat, by the way. What was that cat's name? I'm trying to think of what Ariel named her. Gosh, I can't believe it's right there, too. Anyway, it doesn't matter, but it was a barn cat, feral barn cat. And she wanted a cat, so we saw advertisement for cats, so we went to go get the cat. And I literally had to corner it in a barn. It happened to be the cat that she wanted, so you know how that is, right? And so it was my mission to get that cat. That cat tore me a new one. I'm telling you. I went to reach for that cat, and when it latched onto me, right in between the thumb and the finger, when it latched onto me, I literally threw it, right? I went to, but it didn't go anywhere. It stayed latched on. That hurt like hell. Anyway, what was that cat's name? Damn it, it's right there, and I can't remember it. It's just a kind of a goofy kid's name for a cat. But anyway, that's pretty much what the Republicans are right now. They're like the cat in the corner. And they're going to come out fighting. You know, I was going to make a post in our local group today, and I didn't. I actually And I might have said something about this last night. I don't know if I did or not. I was actually thinking of going back on my own thing, going back on the poll and everything else, and say, come on in. Why? And I talked about it last night, that sometimes you got to watch out what you wish for. But then after deep thought today, I thought, you know what? I came out. I tried to extend an offering of peace. And there were several individuals that just slapped it right back in my face. I am not going to reward that. These folks, for far too long, have been given into. It's not going to be by me. Look, there is a difference between not accepting a particular behavior and hate. They want to put that hate label on everything. And it just blows my mind. It just blows my mind at all that there are individuals out there that think that they are entitled to make moral decisions for others. That blows my mind. That's a level of narcissism that just is beyond the scope. My biggest thing that I don't get, and it just goes to show that these folks can't see past their own nose. What's going to happen if I'm right and things go south in this country? How do you think I'm going to feel about giving those a hand that gave me so much shit, that threw all kinds of labels on me? Probably not going to happen. Just not. I think that's going to be a big issue, because I do think that we're on the cusp of something, and I don't know what it is. I think it's something very big. And it's going to wind up being a matter of folks helping each other, taking care of each other. Like I've said on this show many, many times, that the people that are most important to you, regardless of what you think now, the people that are most important to you are those within walking distance. Doesn't have to be family, doesn't have to be friends. People in walking distance. Because if we have a major event, if we lose the supply chain, that's who you're going to be consorting with. So I would advise people to burn their bridges wisely. Some of us have been at it for a little while. We really don't need anything. I mean, don't get me wrong, we will. But we can go a considerable amount of time without any outside help. Not a lot of people, on average, can say that. That's why I always tell the 2A supporters, because there are so many 2A supporters have like 3 to 5 days of food in their house. When you talk to them about gun laws and all that stuff, and they get their chest all puffed out. I haven't heard out of my cold dead hands in a long damn time. I think they've been too scared to say that one. But and that's a fact. But you're not a very effective warfighter if all your enemy has to do is wait 5 days for you to get hungry. And for some reason, there is a huge swath of Second Amendment folks that can't figure that out. So, I don't know. It's concerning to me because my ass is stuck here. Anywho, I guess we could. Well, more to the point on this. No, I don't really agree with the Republicans expelling the Democrats if this was just over, it says his role in a recent gun control protest. This whole, I'm trying to think of the right word for it, and I know there's plenty of words for it. Political retaliation. This is the beginnings of a civil war. Absolutely. Especially when it gets to this level. So, and again, I'm not pointing fingers saying, oh, this guy's one bad one and the other one's not. No, they both need help. They both need help. It's unbelievable. Here, we got lawyer making claim on U.S. Capitol riot informants. And how long have I been saying this stuff? I mean, come on. It gets old. Remember I talk about the learning curve and getting beaten by the same damn part of it over and over because other people don't want to move forward? Yeah, this is one of them. Over 15 years, I've been warning people about these groups. Because I know a thing or two about them. I know a thing or two about running a group. I got plenty of experience in it. Insane. I always tell people, be very careful. Because it doesn't matter how hard you screen. It doesn't matter what you do. You've got a group, and it gets a big following. You will be infiltrated. And it won't be on a small level. I've told people this time and time and time again. And every time I get told, oh no, we know who is in our group. Right. Okay. Again, I get tired of getting beaten by the same damn spot on the learning curve over and over because other people don't want to get it. They don't want to believe it. They don't want to admit it. But here's the thing. What's the problem with that? If you aren't doing anything illegal, and I got a problem with it, don't get me wrong. I do have a problem with it. But my point being is, for one, you shouldn't be doing stuff that's going to get you in trouble in legal issues. You shouldn't. Not when it comes to groups like this, not when it comes to any type of groups, whether it be militia groups, whether it be, whatever you want to call the Proud Boys. No, it's not a hate group. It's not. That's not anything about what they're about. I'm so tired of lies. And I'm not a fan of Proud Boys, by the way. Not a fan of theirs either. I think they're all sheep. All of them are sheep. Proud Boys, what was the other schmucks that Stuart Rhodes was in charge of? Oath Keepers. That wasn't a joke. Let me read into it. I apologize for not. Law enforcement agencies had at least 40 undercover informants embedded among the protesters alleging election fraud at January 2021 U.S. Capitol breach, a lawyer for one of the riot defenders has claimed. And by the way, you can spot these people. Was I not like the first one that called Pete Santilli out for being an undercover agent? I don't, and everybody told me I was crazy. Everybody told me I didn't know what I was talking about. Everybody. And then what came out? You don't say. Gets real old being wrong all the time. Government officials have admitted that 8 FBI informants were operating within the Proud Boys conservative activist group during the January 6 Capitol riot, defense lawyer Roger Roots said on Wednesday in a court filing. Roots, who represents Proud Boys member Dominic Pizzola, claimed that U.S. Homeland Security investigations had 19 informants among the protesters, while Washington's Metropolitan Police Department had 13 on site. The federal prosecutors in this case are refusing to disclose information regarding these non-FBI informants, Roots said in the U.S. District Court filing. The existence and likely conduct of these confidential human sources is almost certainly exculpatory for Pizzola. Because, see, they're not supposed to be committing crimes and stuff like that. So, and it goes into the history of what happened, but unbelievable. It really, truly is. What was the point I was going to make? I don't even know what it was. But, you know, I mean, fair enough. Just be wise about this stuff. I mean, look, I tell you guys all the time, don't even put anything on the internet that you wouldn't want to put right, that you wouldn't hand right to an FBI agent. If you do anything online in any form, shape, or fashion, don't put sensitive information in there. I can't say it enough. Edward Snowden can't say it enough. It's like people forget all this stuff all the time. Are people really that forgetful? Because I don't know. I don't understand it. Is the fluoride really working that well? Because I haven't had fluoride for probably 14, 15 years. Is the fluoride working that well? Be careful, folks. Don't just think that you're good, because you're probably not. You're probably not. The groups that I am still associated with, currently associated with, we're not stupid. We're not stupid. Believe me, we're not stupid. But we aren't doing anything wrong either. Not doing anything wrong. I mean, we're not involved in these political crap and all that. We don't, no. Nothing to do with any of that stuff. Nope. Leave that for the sheeples. Anywho, this, right now, right in this particular spot in time, is, play on words, what's keeping me up at night. BP Earth Watch put out a video earlier talking about this. And then I went looking around to see if there's any other outlets talking about this. This is apparently a thing. Here's the bizarre part of it all. This article's not new. It was wrote on the 31st of last month. So now that you see the article, and I'll get back to it, let's click on the home page. Let's see what's up on the home page. So we've got all of these articles, correct? None of these articles are newer than the 31st of last month. This, apparently, was the last thing that they posted. Now, they're not the only news outlet that posted this story. I want to make that clear. I don't know what's going on. I have brought you news and information from this website a number of times. Seems to be a valid site. Appreciate BP Earthwatch because that's who I heard about it from. And there's a lot of good information that was coming out on this site that you're not going to get through any type of media from the U.S. or Russia, for that matter. This is not good. 50,000 North Koreans depart for Ukraine. China creates 500,000 man PMC. And Pyongyang gets nuclear technology and cruise missiles. I think it's about to go down. Yesterday, and I probably should have highlighted it more in the news, and I did not. Yesterday, Finland was brought into NATO. And I should have probably spent a little extra time on that and really pointed that out. Because there are some red lines being crossed that nobody's going to tolerate. I don't think on either side. Okay? I don't think that NATO is going to tolerate North Korea and China getting involved, and I don't believe that Russia and company are going to tolerate what the U.S. is doing. Not only with Finland, but other places. You better believe, as quick as they can get them in there, they're going to be getting nuclear weapons into Finland. You can bet that. I think that's going to well cross the red line for Russia. I don't know. And I've talked to you guys before. I don't know. I'm just being straight with you. I don't know if what we see is for real, or if this is what the good book talks about, rumors of war. But either way, answer's still the same for us, right? Keep getting ready. Keep getting ready. I don't think it's gonna remain a small conflict, if you will, for long. Let's see. And I'm just going to kind of move through these. It's my Friday, so and yeah, I'll be here throughout the next week. I know that it's a week long of religious, whatever you want to call it, tradition events and all that stuff, and I know there's a whole series of stuff that I'm supposed to be doing, and I would really like to be doing it, but I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't know anybody else here that knows what they're doing, so, but I did create a group. I absolutely did create a group, because that's what I do. I don't sit there and say, I want somebody else to do for me. No, I jump in and I do for myself, because that's what we should do. So this is what I started. Highland House of Hebrew. So, yep. So that's what I started. We'll see where it goes. Wow, I had like tons of people commenting like crazy on different stuff. I didn't even get the notifications. Oh well. Anywho. Iran and Saudi Arabia ramp up re-engagement. Not good. Not good at all. As you know, the whole OPEC plus cuts and everything else that's going on along with all of this is a clear indicator that we aren't, well, in my opinion, we weren't really able to ever rely on Saudi Arabia, but especially now, especially as in an ally sense, I think those days are over. I don't know that they were ever really even a true ally, but, you know, remember, I didn't forget where the hijackers came from. One from Afghanistan, one from Iraq. They came from Saudi Arabia. So there's a ton of stuff. The Khashoggi killing, there's just a ton of stuff. Not a fan. U.S. and China, and by the way, I've got a lot of these articles kind of mixed in and around because I looked at it and I'm like, how in the hell do you, this is like herding cats. U.S. and Chinese aircraft carriers deployed near Taiwan. So there's a lot of posturing going back and forth between Taiwan and China, the U.S. and China. I don't know which conflict to tell you to watch more. I really don't. This idiot. No country can deploy nuclear weapons on foreign territory. You might want to let the United States know that. This is the stuff that I don't get. And this goes along with all the social issues that we have here in the United States. You've got people telling other people that to do or not do things that aren't even within their own, scope. It's and shouldn't be within their scope. Macron shouldn't be running around talking about what other countries can and can't do, right? Just like nobody else should run around and telling me what my morals have to be or can't be. Bullshit. I'm not going to control your morals. I don't care about your morals. As long as you keep the kids out of it, I don't give two shits what you want to do. Keep the kids out of it. That's all I ask. I really don't care. I don't. Because I've got my own life that I live. I'm not worried about trying to live somebody else's life or trying to run somebody else's life or trying. No, I just, I'll take care of me. Folks take care of them. We need to stop this mindset that we can just walk around and telling everybody what everybody has to do. And that goes for all sides. It's not one-sided whatsoever. China to launch rival undersea comms network. And I put this up because this is kind of a big deal. There are less and less ways that these other superpowers are relying on us because, they relied on us just as much. I won't say just as much as we've relied on them. But there is absolutely infrastructure and other stuff that like China and Russia and stuff have benefited from. And so basically what China's doing right now is they're shoring up their own capabilities. They're making sure that if China, Russia would be cut out of the WWW, that they have their own connection to the WWW. Now, I don't think that's going to much make a damn bit of difference because in the end, it all goes back to the ICANN group. And I'm pretty sure the ICANN group's going to bend to any damn thing that the UN tells them to do. So, that's what it is. I mean, but that's what I see this as. I see them as preparing for the high likelihood that they're cut off from any type of infrastructure that they don't possess. So, as far as what they work out between themselves and ICANN, well, that's between them and ICANN. But keep an eye on this stuff. When you see people or countries doing stuff to make sure that they don't have to rely on you, probably for a reason. Ukraine, ready for talks on Crimea. I thought this was precious. So, Well, I'll just read it. It says Ukraine may sit down with Russia to discuss the future of Crimea if Kiev's military reaches the peninsula's border. Andrei Sybiha, deputy head of President Vladimir Zelensky's office, told the Financial Times in an interview published on Wednesday. The official, however, has allegedly insisted that the military option is not off the table. If we succeed in achieving our strategic goals on the battlefield and when we will be on the administrative border with Crimea, we are ready to open a diplomatic page to discuss this issue, he said. I don't know if he's trying to pull some art of war nonsense here. And by the way, the art of war is not nonsense, but the way some people try to use it is ergo this. Get there first, because I don't think you've got a chance in hell. I'm not picking a side. I'm just a realist. Let's see. China issues warning to U.S. and NATO over Ukraine. This here says NATO, not China, is responsible for the crisis in Ukraine and has no moral standing from which to criticize Beijing. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Mao Ning said during a press conference on Thursday. The U.S. and the military bloc of NATO shoulder unshirkable responsibilities on the Ukraine crisis, Mao continued, arguing that NATO is in no position to criticize or pressure China to take its side. On the Ukraine crisis, China upholds an objective and just position. We have been advocating a political settlement of the crisis and working for talks for peace, she explained, claiming that this was a strategy supported by the vast majority of countries in the world. I don't know how this could be blamed on China. I don't even remotely know how it could be blamed on China, but it's our government, so. Taiwan defies China on maritime patrols. Taiwan's maritime authorities refused to comply after China's government launched patrols in waters around the self-governing island and ordered that any ships in the region be stopped for inspection. If the mainland side insists on taking one-sided actions, it will create obstacles to normal exchanges between the two sides, the Taiwanese Maritime and Port Bureau said in a statement on Thursday, following Beijing's announcement of patrols in the Taiwan Strait. We will be forced to take corresponding measures. As a result, the mainland side must bear the responsibility for subsequent consequences, which is not what the two sides like. The Maritime Authority filed a complaint with Chinese officials and called for shipping companies to ignore inspection orders on in the Taiwan Strait. It also advised shippers to notify the Taiwanese Coast Guard if they received such demands. Beijing announced a 3-day series of patrols in the region, one day after Taiwanese President Tsai Ing-wen, I'm not sure if I got that right, met in California with U.S. House Speaker Kevin McCarthy and other Washington lawmakers. Chinese officials vowed to take strong and resolute measures in response to the egregiously wrong meeting. So, again, if you were to ask me which one is going to flare up first, couldn't tell you. Right on, Jamie. I mean, Leo. Sorry. Alright. You twisted my arm. There you go. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that's good. Okay. Gloomy outlook issued for U.S. dollar. No kidding? Hey, is that cocaine on that, by the way? Hey, wait a minute. Time out. What the hell does that have to do with this? I swear that's coke. I see what they're doing. The U.S. dollar could weaken by as much as 15% against major world currencies over the next 18 months as inflation continues to cool, allowing the Federal Reserve to loosen its monetary policy, according to the Horizon SLJ Capital. Boy, my emphasis is just totally off tonight. Part of it's because I'm biting my stupid sinuses. A research note released on Tuesday by the firm's chief executive, Stephen Yin, said the U.S. Federal Reserve is likely close to or already beyond peak hawkishness, meaning that rate cuts are on the horizon. The Fed's 9 previous hikes, in addition to the tighter credit conditions caused by the U.S. banking crisis, already suggest inflation is trending to the downside, he concluded. We expect U.S. inflation to continue to decline at roughly the same pace as it rose in 2021 and the first half of 2022, historically. There has been scant evidence of downside stickiness in inflation, even if there is evidence of downside price and wage level stickiness, Jen wrote in the note, cited by Business Insider. The already subdued level of economic activity in major parts of the world will, ironically, likely prevent global demand from collapsing, which points to a significantly weaker U.S. currency, the analyst argued. I saw a bunch of, it's like the school teacher talking on Charlie Brown, you know. I don't know any of this stuff. I really don't understand it at all. I don't know that we're on our way back. Is inflation lightening up? Not everywhere. In some places, in some areas, yeah, inflation's letting up a little bit. I don't know what, hang on here. I don't know what fuel's been going for or anything else. I forgot my search term. There we go. Oh, I didn't need that whole thing. Let me do that. All right. Now, it's probably going to come up diesel first. Yeah, it does. Diesel hasn't gone down much at all. At the beginning of winter, when we first started using the diesel heater, it was $4.79, I think it was, a gallon. And then after some time, it finally went down to $4.59. The last time we bought diesel fuel, which has been a couple of weeks, I guess, it was $4.59. So it's made it down to $4.52. So fuel, when it comes to diesel, it's still struggling to come down. As far as regular gasoline, yeah, I mean, I think it was down as low as $3.29 or something one time I caught it. I don't drive, so it's not like I keep up on gas prices. But, yeah, I don't see that. I'm pretty sure it was down to like $3.29 at some point. Let me set this back to diesel because eggs are down, but that's it's kind of a targeted thing, you know what I mean? That was because of all the problems in the poultry system. I don't know, because we just do our grocery shopping and stuff like that. As far as other prices, toilet paper is just insane right now. We just ordered some today. We just had to take the lump, so to speak, and buy not as much as what we normally buy because we didn't have the extra money. I mean, they're wanting, what, $70 on average or so for a case of toilet paper? That's what we buy. A case of 80 rolls is what we buy. And, I've seen it everywhere from $70 to $100. I do think that I did see one for like $53, $54 a case of We Get Scott. 80 rolls in a case, individually wrapped. It's made for institutions. No, I'm not picky. I don't require or request that. That's just the deal we get. That typically Normally, they run anywhere between $39 and $49 for that case of toilet paper. So it lasts us a couple months, a little more than a couple months, and most of it goes to my nose because I'm always blowing my nose. So it is what it is. I need to stop. Is what I need to do. Not stop blowing my nose. I kind of can't help that, but I need to get like a handkerchief and stop wasting and. Because it's a big waste of money. It truly is. Over time. I don't know. I'm cheap. Leave me alone. Anyway. Yeah, the dollar's screwed. I think we've all known that. Been screwed for quite some time. Anyway. How about we do some headlines? Run out the door. Might be a good night to run out the door, scream, throw your arms up, yell the end is nigh, all that good stuff. Make sure before you go out and you do all that, because it's dark out, right? Make sure that you wrap yourself up in Christmas tree lights and then run outside. And, the end is nigh, it'll be cool. Trust me. Your neighbors will love you. All right. NATO chief issues warning to China. U.S. to pay... Somebody's ear must be bothering her pretty bad. U.S. to pay $145 million settlement for official negligence. Why is that not surprising? Israel alarmed by Iran comments from top U.S. general, says Axios. Let's see. Ukraine offers to rent gas storage to the EU, says Naftogaz CEO. Zara parent sells business in Russia, says RBK. China identifies first red line in U.S. relations. I'm pretty sure that there's been a few of them crossed already. German arms business booming amid Ukraine crisis, says Bloomberg. Well, I'm sure. Moscow warns of chaos in the Arctic. And this is kind of interesting, I must say. Another Kennedy joins U.S. presidential race. Bobby Kennedy Jr. is joining on the Democratic ticket. And that's got my attention. I mean, I ain't going to go register. Don't think I'm going to get all that stupid. But it's definitely got my attention. I'm like, oh, really? So I'm interested what the man's got to say. I don't believe he's going to do a damn bit of it because none of them do. But I still want to hear what he's got to say. Pentagon flies nuclear-capable bombers over Korean Peninsula. I'll maybe get it right. A ruble slides to 1-year low against dollar and euro. Former editor claims Wikipedia bias against Russia. Ukrainian saboteurs attempt raid in Russia, says an official. Police officers killed in gunfight in Russia, says media. Russian meat exports soar. China disavows New York Times claim about Russia relations. Barcelona diagnosed with leukemia, says media. Russia's Donbass region takes stance on death penalty. Newest NATO members' government resign. I didn't read that one. I'm going to have to here. Let me set that off to the side. I kind of missed that one. It might fill in some blanks for me. Let's see. U.S. and China aircraft carriers deployed near Taiwan, says an official. I don't know if I had that one up or not. Nord Stream sabotage by state actor is main scenario, says investigator. Rockets fired at Israel from Lebanon. Macron urges Xi to mediate on Ukraine, which they've offered to do long ago. A gloomy outlook issued for U.S. dollar. Yeah, you remember they offered to do it, and the United States said no. You can't have a ceasefire. You have to continue fighting. That's pretty much exactly what the United States did. It was Looney Tunes. Everything Russian must be eradicated in Crimea, says Zelensky aide. And that's not like genocide or anything like that. I'm trying to figure this out. I don't get how what's happening to the Palestinians isn't genocide. So I can't make any sense of it because people want to change definitions depending on who it's happening to, and homie, don't play that. Russian woman conquers active volcano on dog sled. Hey, I gotta hand it to you. It's a lot better off than being stabbed by your own cock. So, more power to you, lady. Huh? Well, I mean, she, I guess, sledded down an active volcano on a dog sled. So, that's an accomplishment. Getting stabbed by your own cock, it's not an accomplishment. I'm sorry. Not really, I'm not sorry, but... German insurers refute claims of continued Nord Stream coverage. Macron failed to change Xi's mind, says Politico. Really? I'm shocked. Holland makes shock admission in call with Russian pranksters. Japan vows to fight hay fever crisis. China, covered that one. Let's see. Lukashenko proposes nuclear disarmament plan. World Bank revises Russian GDP forecast. Russian MP suggests swapping Wall Street Journal reporter for Assange. I kind of like that idea. A lawyer makes claim on U.S. Capitol riot informants. Now, if I'm understanding this, by the way, that would be Russia gets Assange, and then whoever, Ukraine, United States, or whatever, gets the reporter, the Wall Street Journal reporter. Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm really good with that. I think Russia would take care of Assange. I really do. And when I say that, I mean that. I absolutely mean that. I think they're taking good care of Edward Snowden. I have no animosity for either of the men at all. They did the right thing. Absolutely did the right thing. And that would be great. Yeah, I'm all for that trade. Absolutely. Lawyer makes claim on U.S. Capitol riot in... I actually read that one. Get this one. 350. Count them all. 350. There was 350 exotic animals found in airport luggage. Yes, you heard that right. 350 exotic animals shoved in luggage. That happened in Russia. They caught him at the airport. UK Postal Service apologizes for nasty pay rise prank. So check this out. This is kind of cruel. So there's this big labor dispute going on, right? And they're on strike and all this stuff. And apparently, it's not really been going too well. And I guess somebody at a particular location thought it would be funny on April Fool's Day to print out a poster saying that there was an agreement reached and how everybody should go around and let, the other people know that's in the UK Postal Union, if you will. And it wasn't true. It was the April Fool's prank, a very poorly done April Fool's prank. But, there's some not so happy people over that. Oh, and by the way, the Postal Service, they did have a stern talking to the particular employee that did this, and he's apologized. That's good. He's apologized. His ass would be out the door if it was my call. Met police nearly 3 times more likely to strip search black girls, says a study. I believe that. Absolutely, I believe that. Ukrainian mayor bans largest Christian church. Taiwan, by the way. We're supposed to be rooting for this guy? Now, I've got my own qualms. But, I don't get it. Ukraine stands for the very opposite of what the United States is supposed to stand for. I don't get it. U.S. Supreme Court judge under attack. Covered that. Ukraine used NATO ammunition to kill Donetsk civilians, says Russia. Enemies of Israel will pay a price, says Netanyahu. Israel launches attack on Gaza. White House names culprit behind Afghan exit debacle. We talked about that. And lastly, U.S. opposes NATO roadmap for Ukraine. Says, I actually covered that one. Sorry. That's it. I mean, I say that's it. That was a hell of a lot. I would say over the next few days, just keep a really close eye on things. There are a few different things that are just concerning. They're very concerning. Like I say, make sure you keep doing the things, getting prepared, and whatever it is you do. I don't think we're headed to a good place, and I think we're headed there in a hurry. I don't know. Just make sure that you're good to go. And if something crazy does happen, just try to help. Just try to help. Any way you can. Absolutely. Lael says stay alert. Absolutely stay alert. I advise against large crowds and all that kind of stuff. Just in general. I mean, it's crazy times, folks. And people be justifying some crazy stuff these days. I just stay at home. I'm good here. I don't need to run around and be Mr. Social and all that stuff. Just be careful, folks. There's a lot of crazy out there right now. A lot. And I don't see it getting any better. So, by the way, I didn't have coffee tonight. I realized about 7:45 that I didn't even start coffee. And I'm like, well, I ain't going to start it now. I'm ready for bed because I haven't had my evening coffee. So, anyway, I am going to get out of here. I hope you all have a good evening, a good weekend. God willing, we'll be back Sunday night. I hope to see you then. And as always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit. Shalom.